Please subscribe.
Up to now, Alfa Romeo's return to the US has played out like a pop star's entry on the scene. And today Alfa is embarking on a harder journey, fleshing out the entire discography with more mainstream versions of this Giulia sedan which have a 4-cylinder engine. Can this enticing upstart create a name for itself among the continuing chart toppers of the entry-luxury sedan planet, namely the Audi A4, BMW 3 Series, and Mercedes-Benz C-class? Sex appeal. What Alfa has gotten right, it has gotten spectacularly right, beginning with the Giulia's looks. Even though some may take issue with the unusually shaped and iconic front grille, this sedan has a perfectly proportioned body which exudes character on the road. The back end, particularly, is beautifully detailed, with graceful taillights wrapped around the haunches and a tasteful lower valance with dual exhaust tips. Our test car, outfitted with the sport package and 19-inch wheels, looked nearly identical to the Quadrifoglio, with an aggressive position, red brake calipers, and black window surrounds. The Giulia's dynamics also are spot on, achieving a nearly ideal ride, handling equilibrium that picks up where the BMW 3 Series left one generation past. It does not require much seat time to sense that the liveliness of the Alfa's controls, beginning with the perfectly weighted steering rack, which has great on-center texture, speedy turn-in, and, most importantly, is communicative, with just the perfect quantity of feedback filtered through the driver. The car moves on twisty roads. The balanced weight distribution. We measured our rear-wheel drive test car's 3,636-pound curb weight at 49.8% front, 50.2% back, making it simple to get into a rhythm. The only blemish on this fluidity is the wooden, uncommunicative brake-by-wire brake pedal, which may make it hard to come to a stop easily, even if the binders themselves delivered a competitive 163-foot stop from 70 miles per hour. And ride quality was mostly pleasant, with just the occasional sharp impact reaching the silent cabin. Switch the console-mounted DNA switch to D, for a dynamic, and you will feel increased steering and a bit less compliance from the elastic dampers. Even within the sportier mode, however, there's a button to switch just the dampers back to a softer setting if you happen to end up exposing a particularly rough stretch of sidewalk. Engine room. Though its 280 horsepower shirts that of its nearest German competitions, our 0 to 60 mph test result of 5.7 seconds trailed the 252 horsepower Audi A4 by 0.5 seconds and the 248 horsepower BMW 330i by 0.3. There's loads of mid-range grunt to be had from the Alfa, but this 2.0-liter is not as smooth or as willing to rev as would be the Bimmer and Audi Turbo 4s. We also were left wishing for more sensory play from this Italian, even though it's possible that the amazing wail of the Giulia Quadrifoglio's 505 horsepower Ferrari-derived V6 was still ringing in our ears. Enormous, metal paddle shifters, shared with all the Quadrifoglio, are satisfying to use while driving hard, but their size and positioning can make it inconvenient to achieve the turn signal and wiper stalks. It's also disappointing that this engaging car lacks a manual transmission alternative. The 3 Series, the A4, and the Cadillac ATS provide 3-pedal setups, and the Giulia's auto-only lineup strikes us as a missed opportunity to further entice the sort of folks fans that could become brand advocates. Inconsistent inside. Alfa Romeo has some ground to cover to catch up to the class-leading insides from Mercedes-Benz and Audi. The Giulia's dashboard design is pleasing to look at, with attractive gauges and an infotainment screen that is nicely integrated into the dashboard. But there are a few unsightly and cheap-feeling plastics surrounding the shifter and on the door panels. Other details left us scratching our heads, such as the tiny sun visors, the minuscule center console, and the huge plastic panel at the bottom of the center stack that looks like a waste of space given it accommodates just a single USB port. Easy-to-fold rear seatbacks with a useful 40/20/40 split include a measure of practicality. Eliminate the few options we can do without, including the aforementioned $2,200 red paint, the panoramic sunroof for $1,350, and the Harman Kardon sound system for $900, and you wind up well under $50,000. Our test car's other choices such as the $2,250 19-inch Sport package, the $1,200 Performance package, using a limited slip differential, elastic dampers, and aluminum paddle shifters, $950 for an 8.8-inch infotainment display with navigation, and a set of active safety packages for a total of $2150 seemed worth the price for what they add to the Giulia's allure. Holding up. By now you are probably wondering about the Giulia's build quality, long a pain in the side of Italian cars. Our test car certainly had a couple of foibles, including a sunroof that called it quits and a Bluetooth system that had difficulty keeping a consistent connection with a paired phone, and we had the car for just a week. Long-term durability remains a major question mark, and Alfa's standing does not instill much confidence. This early on in Alfa Romeo's revived career, then, it is tough to call the Giulia a celebrity. However, what Alfa's album may lack of production quality, it makes up for with its enthralling, lively, and distinctive character. Whether you're discussing the slam-dunk layout or the fabulous handling, the Giulia has piqued our interest, and we are listening attentively.